And we're Wet Hamster here again with allergies. Lovely.
And if any of you bastards out there loved me, you'd let me die.
Yeah. So this is gonna be a great episode. We have allergy attacks and all that fun stuff.
Yay.
So this is what I normally do with that one wall when I have the guns for it.
Snipe it from a distance.
Yeah. You could actually use some of the long-range handguns and just destroy it. And no Reaper to
I
deal
don't
with.
think you have it in you to kill them off. Just avoid their attacks and keep moving forward.
Here you can see how much tougher the wads are in this section of the game.
Captain Danny Russo.
Yeah, those are, slackers, not wads. I just wanted to correct you there.
They all die. That's the important thing. And they're annoying.
I think my allergies a lot, a lot less worse than yours. But this is what I mean that if I just charge through, I know the timing and what side to stick to, and I can kind of get through it. So, you can get through it without any trouble. Bam.
Yeah. Once you get the timing for all of those kind of sections, it's just learning the patterns on like what you did there. Yeah, way to make me look bad,
Yeah,
by the way.
I was trying to just run around in circles while waiting.
Captain Danny Russo, your coordinates, sir.
Oh well, at least I have liberation.
Yeah.
So screw you. Screw you, Rover.
Once you're powered up, liberation's pretty much disposable by that point.
Oh yeah, definitely. But at this point, when you're playing on Insane, you need it.
Yeah.
And you'll excuse us if we have like frogs in our throat and need to carve it out. I'll try to do as much editing as I can to edit it out.
Yeah, I'm getting my kitchen and bathroom redone at the moment, so there's plenty of dust and brick dust in the air, which is setting off my allergies wonderfully. Hence, me wishing to die, because I refuse to believe how anything could be better.
Well, I live out in the country, so when we start farming the fields and all that stuff,
Yeah. I don't...
all that junk in the air.
Thankfully, I don't have any kind of allergies like that, because, whenever anyone's mowing their lawns and all that, I always have the windows wide open just so I can, just for all the smell of cut grass and that.
Well, my worst allergy is birch trees. Yep, tons of them. And it's the time of the year when they start dropping their seeds.
Yeah. Apparently I'm allergic to cheese plants, but I haven't been near one of them in years, so...
Cheese plants? Wait, what?
Yeah, it's a kind of weird tree. It's not a tree which actually smells of cheese, don't worry.
No, I would be scared if there was a tree that smelled of cheese or produced cheese as fruit.
I don't know.
Even though that would kind of be awesome.
I can kind of imagine, the tree dropping having little mini baby bells hanging off the branches.
Yeah. With wax and everything on covering it.
Yeah. Frankly, I'd have an entire greenhouse devoted to them if that were the case, but...
But
Chief,
I'm gonna have to get into something more uncomfortable. Let me dig up my quotes here.
Oh boy. Because,
Wow,
if
actually,
we're
it's
suffering,
like
you
single
have to
interview.
suffer,
they have to be
dear viewer.
carefully avoided to proceed.
So, the director who made this game
Twisted,
is
don't
the
attack.
director that made Crisis
Just keep
Core
moving.
for Final Fantasy VII. And supposedly he's also the one making Final Fantasy XIV too. So that should be an interesting experience when I play that game, because I will. I played Final Fantasy XIV, got through the entire game. Now I have to play Final Fantasy XIV 2, just out of principle.
13, you mean? 14's the online game.
Right. 13.
See, I'm not the one that screws up all the time. Vindication!
Yes!
Other people other than me make mistakes. Sorry.
Totally. But no, I'm kind of frightened now.
He seems to have a thing for making, with just going by
Women.
Crisis Core, he seems to have a thing for making games which are solid mechanically and musically, but in terms of plot, you're left asking yourself why anyone would do this.
Maybe you need more sleep.
Because
Anyway, he
Crisis Core was a good game.
Let's see.
It was solid, but
I-
you know, being part of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, there's no real reason for it to exist because it wasn't exactly answering any questions that people had beyond OMG, can we get more Zack?
Ugh. Okay, so here's something you said. They asked, as a character, how did you envision Aya Brian the third birthday? And he responded, regardless of the game being on the PSP, we challenged ourselves to portray Aya in a realistic manner in every aspect of the game. As a result, I think we were able to develop Aya's distinctive characteristics in a realistic fashion.
So
That actually hurts to think about, because if he thinks that's how women... No, I'd rather not think about that.
I have to ask, has he ever actually encountered any women ever?
Maybe at some sort of BSDM clubs.
I don't know. I've met quite a few women into that sort of thing who are a little bit stronger than I hear.
And here's another thing he mentions when they ask what inspired the third birthday story.
Playboy?
No, but good guess. There was a 10-year gap after the release of Parasite Eve 2, and we couldn't simply just create a sequel, so we decided to create a title for Aya's return. For that reason, we believe that in order for Aya to stand apart on her own, we need to reimagine Aya and not create a simple reboot of the Parasite Eve series. The story evolved around this concept of Aya's comeback.
My two least favorite industry buzzwords. Reimagining and reboot.
We saw how well that went in Shattered Memories. Voidburger, I feel sorry for you.
It's bottom of the pit, and still they managed to find new and interesting avenues of going further down.
Yeah, making Dolly into sexy slut. Yeah, I'm horrified. I feel sick just thinking about that. Actually,
Wouldn't quite go that far, but well done in managing to miss every single point.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
I'm creeped out more than anything because I still see the images of Voidburger photoshopping the head of old crazy Dahlia Gillespie onto the sexy body, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what I sit and think when I try to put the two together. You know, why they about the change. I'm like, no.
Oh, well, admittedly there is kind of a plot-based reason as to why you could see the game doing that, but that's big spoilers for a completely different game that we're not going to get into.
Yeah. So there was barking and dogs and stuff. Guest commentary. Just take it as that. Mr. Toto had a guest commentary spot. He barked.
That is really impressive how... I mean, I know it's, you know, the typical knee-jerk reaction is, OMG, they don't get it, ergo they don't care. But this is one of the first times I can actually look at it and go, no way, it does seem like the guy didn't have a clue.
Oh yeah.
That really is quite impressive. It's kind of like, there was a classic quote from Tim Burton when he did the first Batman movie. And someone asked him, someone basically asked, what history do you have with the character personally, how do you see him, that sort of thing. And he basically responded, oh no, I've never read a Batman comic in my life, and I certainly never would.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's that kind of...
Well, but you also have to remember there was also the golden age of comics where all the comics were campy, and Batman himself was like campy, so it kind of fits together still in a sense.
In a way, but when it came out in mid-80s, that was firmly in the grip of the grim and gritty age.
What now?
Oh yeah.
Jump off.
And, in a way it kind of exemplified that, but in another you also had, Batman casually offing the Joker. Which, ask anyone who knows anything about Batman and they'll tell you that's a big no-no.
That is a big no-no, but the first Batman movie was still the best of the movies, if you ask me.
I have to go for the 1960 Batman. Adam West. Dark Knight.
Yeah, I actually
Dark
watched
Knight
that as a
was
kid. I watched that every day as a kid.
good.
They actually showed it in Denmark, so I was that lucky.
But, you know, that really is impressive how they managed to miss the point. But then again, you know, like I said,
But you know, it's the way you have to look at it. This is Hollywood we're talking about, and every single Hollywood to comic movie, they just off the villains left and right.
yeah, except in this case I was talking about the gaming.
Oh.
Twice! Vindication! I am king. But, no, like I said, considering that this was directed by the same guy that did Crisis Core, which again was another sterling example of a game answering questions that no one really had. You know, that game was fan service as well, but in a completely different way.
And also, the director, he goes lengthily on about how he like wants his games to be like, oh, I noticed that these guys have a lot of health bars.
Yeah.
But
Making this
he
stage
goes
even
on about.
longer than it has to be.
Yeah. He goes really on about how he's like, oh well, you know, he wants to make cinematic shooters and stuff, and cinematic this and cinematic that. So
Games are not cinema. It's okay to borrow the. It's okay to borrow the language of the cinema, but you're doing something completely different.
So I mean, that's also where we get into the little problems like Final Fantasy 13 had. Well, you know, where it was like too cinematic, right?
Yeah, you could tell that it really wanted to be its own adaptation.
Yeah.
You know, it wanted to be the
you
movie
even look
version
at like
of the game.
Metal Gear 4, where it's too cinematic because you know, like I don't mind Metal Gear though being too cinematic because I always kind of viewed it as you know, after Metal Gear 3,
More
Yeah.
enemies on the move. Snatchers.
there was a lot of cinematics in it.
Yeah. It always really bugs me when game designers do that. I mean, you're dealing with a medium that it can draw the player in a way that nothing else can. You know, you should be playing up to your own strengths and adapting everything else, rather than trying to.
So I'd like to cut you there. I would like to explain what I did there was if you just stand still there and you have a sniper, you can shoot them, kill them, and the next set will only spawn if you move forward. So you can essentially take out a third of these guys. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. Games are basically, I've always seen it as a medium where you can do things that nothing else can. You know, you can draw the player or the viewer in to a remarkable degree. There's a great degree of connection between the two. So you should be trying to adapt, you know, the language of movies, all the tropes in that, and adapting them into the game, rather than trying to turn the game into an interactive movie, because that never works.
No, they had like these. They had an era where they're basically doing you know, they movie recorded games or something like that.
Yeah, the interactive movie.
Yeah, basically interactive movies, tons of them. That was sort of a fad. We all saw how that worked out. So well.
It's,
I mean, there were some pretty awesome games, but it still didn't work out in the end.
yeah, it's
The
a
production
nice,
value was sky high.
yeah, it's a nice idea, and I can see exactly what they're trying to do, but they're going about it completely the wrong way. If you ask me.
But well, I'm gonna have to finish the last tidbits of
briefly
the
checked the files.
interview here
There are no records of you
for the next
having
video.
a younger sister
Yeah.
named Eve. But we'll
because
keep
we're
looking.
coming to an end here. So we'll
I
see
don't think
you
you're
in the next
lying about
video.
having a sister.
Hey, we're finishing on time
Hope
for
to
once.
see-
What are
Records
the
could have
odds?
been deleted by
Yeah,
someone.
yeah. I made sure to stop
How will you
ourselves
know
from
if I
going over
find
time.
anything?
Yay.
Anyway,